Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Wes here with Grady Space. I'm here today filming episode 3 of my Road to Glory series. We're going to look at Gameweek 152, see the reward I picked up there, and then we're going to look at my gallery. A lot of new additions to the team. Sent out some guys, brought in some new ones that I'm really excited about. So going to share those with you. I think there's a couple that aren't on people's radars yet that could be really good pickups if you can get on them early. So without further ado, let's kind of jump into this. Look at Gameweek 152. So not a great week for me. I had 3 DMPs in my global all-star lineup, and then my rookie starter league I had 2. So this was kind of expected. In my last video I mentioned I'm refocusing, right? I'm selling off my J and K League players for the most part and really focusing on MLS because that's where I've done the most research. So my tier 2 common, nothing to be excited about here. Clinton Mata, Jupiler League defender, that's fine. So yeah, not a whole lot going on here. Now we're going into the international break. So the next game week is April 6th or April 2nd to April 6th. So you got a little bit of time here. I recommend you use this time if you are playing primarily in Europe leagues right now to get focused on kind of the Asian leagues, J League and K League, and the MLS because when we come back from break, the European leagues are going to be in the final stretch. So you're going to want to make sure that you still have some, teams you can put forward. So let's take a look at my gallery. I mentioned I had added and sold some players. So the last pickup I showed you guys was Fabian Herbers, forward for Chicago. Then I picked up Edison Flores shortly after that. So Edison is a attacking midfielder, could even play some in the forward role for Washington, who is expected to have a kind of more attack-focused approach this year. They brought in a new coach who, is kind of a send-it mentality. So he's just going to push people forward and try and score goals. And Edison has a track record of being successful, scoring goals and facilitating the attack. So excited for him. Not a cheap player, but, at 26 years old now, I think he's got a lot of room for growth still and can be a player I utilize for the next few years. So I was excited to pick up a copy of his. I think he could have a big year and see his value rise. So you'll notice 2 guys here. So Eber and Steven Birnbaum both have 0s in their last 5. So we're going to hop back into SoRare data in a second to look at those guys. But let's talk about Frederick Kessler. So Henry Kessler here. Was a rookie defender last year for the New England Revolution, which is a very good team coached by Bruce Arena, the old U.S. national team coach. So very well coached squad. So for him to be able to get time as a rookie, I think says a lot coming out of the MLS draft. So I think he's a really, really good young player. He's got some solid scores. I think he's got a lot of upside. So I was excited to get a copy of his to kind of have as a defender that I can feel good about for kind of the long term. And then Carlos Fierro, relatively young, plays on the wing, plays for San Jose. Is a really good player. He's pretty consistent for a forward, but also has a little bit more upside than what we saw when we looked at Fabian Herbers, who is just more consistent. Carlos Fierro also has some upside there, so that was exciting to get a copy of his. Okay, so Steven Birnbaum and Eber. Let's go look at SoRare data and talk about these guys a little bit more. So let's start with Eber because he's the one who I am super excited about. All right. So he is a forward for New York City. His prices have gone up since I picked him up about 3 or 4 days ago. I got him for less than 0.09. Now he's 0.136 on his 3-day rolling. But his SF5 score. So he got hurt back half of last year, so he missed a lot of games. But if you kind of look backwards, he was a super high-performing true number 9 forward. So he's the guy who plays at the top of the formation. He's a very smart forward, so he gets his runs in, times them well, and picks up a lot of goals that way. So I'm super excited for him to come back. I think his upside is bigger than anybody else that I have on my team right now in the forward position. So I think that was a steal. They're expecting him back late May, but it could push into June or even July, worst case. So it's one I'm going to have to sit on for a little bit. But if you've got that time and a little bit of a budget to get somebody who can put on your bench and wait for him to get healthy, I think this could be a great pickup. All right, the other one was Steve Birnbaum. All right, very similar situation. So he messed up his ankle last year. So he's out, and he actually just had a second surgery to kind of clean up the first surgery. So there's a little bit of risk there, I think, but all reports are that the surgeries went well. So the expectation is for him to be back in about 12 weeks. So another guy I'm going to have to sit on for a little bit, but I mean, look at those scores. He's super consistent. He very rarely drops under 40 points, and quite frequently is in the 50-plus point range, even getting up into the 70s a couple times. So very strong score and super cheap. I mean, right now on the market, there's a copy for .044. I think I paid $0.39 or something like that. Let's see. Yeah, I paid $0.35. So, look out for an auction of his. Couple going on right now. So, but I think even at $0.44, that's a great bargain, really. I consider picking up a second copy, but I still want to kind of diversify and get more players. So, not ready to start doubling up yet, I don't think. So that's kind of where my roster sits right now, some of the new additions that I'm really excited about. I am going to jump into One Shot League for just a second and show you guys something that I thought was interesting. So my team did not have a great week here in week 2. I only had 1 green score. Everyone else kind of had a middling performance. So I only came in with 227 points, which had me in 1928th place. So not a great week. But the interesting thing is, after week 1, where I scored 333 points, I was in 593rd position. And then I followed that up with a pretty bad week 2, and I actually moved up to 532nd. So I don't know exactly what that means. It could mean there's less people participating. So a lot of the people that were ahead of me maybe didn't submit a week 2 lineup, so they kind of just dropped off. Or maybe a lot of those people had really bad week 2s. So what this says to me is, if you just keep putting in good lineups week after week, even if you didn't have a great week 1 or you didn't have a great week 2, I think you're going to be able to continue to move up. And if you put together 5 decent weeks with a couple good ones in there, at the end you might be near the top of the leaderboard, and end up with a reward. And who knows what they'll do for end of season rewards, but this doesn't cost anything to play. Pretty easy. Jump in there, set a lineup, and you could win a free rare SoRare card, which is pretty exciting in my opinion. So that's going to wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and until next time, thanks guys.